Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a look here at CVX, see what's going on, of course. I got some requests for covering this because we hit all three of our profit targets, took about 20% off CVX in the last 4 trading days. And, I get the question like, hey, what did you do? Why did how did you figure out what's going to happen next? So again, really straightforward standard stuff I cover in most of my videos, but I'll make sure to review that with you here today because breakouts are kind of easy to identify at a certain point in the market. And it kind of has to come with consistency from Bitcoin first as a foundation. And of course, a handful of other factors. So we'll go ahead and cover that. Now, if you're new to the channel, I am not a financial advisor. I really just love teaching people how to trade. I'm truly passionate about cryptocurrency and trading in general. And I can tell you I do this every day for a living. This is my full-time job. And I want to teach you to become a better trader. So CryptoCache.tech is the website, link down below. Check that out if you want to become essentially a better trader and understand how just I guess the more fundamentals. I have a trading academy where I teach you how to be a better trader. I have a trading community. We all learn and grow together, 300 plus members. Thank you so much to all of my current members, as well as the fact that we actually have a signal group where I send out signals for every single trade that I take. And you get to share along in that process and kind of see what it's like to structure your trades. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but I can tell you, you don't learn it overnight, but it is something very feasible. Now, taking a look here at CVX, here's what's going on. First of all, we're over the 50-day SMA, and we, of course, have a nice breakout pattern here. And how to identify that breakout? It comes with a couple of things. First of all, you define if you're in a descending, sideways, or ascending pattern. Well, obviously, there was a descending pattern here running synonymous with the 50-day SMA. Once it came down, it effectively hit its bottom, and you can tell that it hits its bottom based on the fact that there is like multiple attempts at a specific price point that cannot be broken. So you see this line almost getting created. That takes about a week or two to process. Once we hit that and we start to see these higher lows, that's a case in point where you want to start paying attention. And the higher lows are easy to identify in shorter time frames, of course, but in this big picture here, you can see that it's outperforming Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin is moving very strong, of course. It's up a decent percent over the last 2 weeks. But generally speaking, this one's doing much better. And the reason why is because there's more volume. Now, if you take into consideration, exclude this here based on the fact that there was a pump and dump type of scenario, you can see there's more volume now than there was ever before, okay? And that increase in volume, which started here, is kind of like a signal. Okay, hey, great, we got a lot of volume, price is increasing, let's see what's going on. As it comes over and retraces and kind of consolidates, you can see that it candle wicked up multiple times at this price point, right around $20.50. So on the 4th day, when it tried to break $20.50, we took entry as a community, and ever since then, of course, we hit all of our profit targets because it just continued to progress upwards, broke through the 50-day SMA, broke this ascending triangle pattern, and just kind of broke out all things considered. It was a fantastic trade. And the main reason why is just simply put, when you have a resistance level that is consistently trying to be broken, like this one here, for example, at 2050, and you test it 3 or 4 days in a row, you can expect the 4th or 5th or 6th, anything over 3, to effectively become that breaking point, okay? Because you can only test something so many times before it breaks. I mean, this is just the way that it works. Like you kick a door multiple times, the more likely you are to kick it down. Same scenario here. So again, just something to kind of consider. That's kind of what went into that trade, just so you understand that generally, because I know I got that question a lot. But as far as what's going to happen next, let's see if it's overextended. It does appear so just in the outside looking in. We probably have a few more days left. Oh, no, we do not. We're at basically extreme overtime here. And keep this in mind, though, there was a lot of consolidation here at this point. So yes, this is a 9 here. In fact, Bitcoin has a 9 as well that shows us overextended. But truth be told, we're probably at like a 5 right now, if you want to think about it that way. Because it had a tremendous amount of volume accumulation at this point. We can see a lot of volume at the base here as well to give it that foundation. So all in all, it's still looking very good. So try not to concern yourself with the fact that we're at a 9 on TD sequential or plus, if you will. That's kind of, it's not exactly accurate in that regard, because you got to kind of look at the overall momentum and the trend, right? Because yes, this 4th previous candlestick is technically higher, but it was barely higher and it had enough consolidation to leg up like it has. That being said, let's go ahead and move on to some traditional indicators here. So RSI basically telling us we're overextended, but keep in mind, when you're up over 70 on the RSI, if we can get this 1-day candlestick to close above, which might happen, then we can essentially consider that is a support level. So the likelihood of the price coming way back down from here is still very low considering this momentous trend. Pending Bitcoin doesn't drop like a rock, we should see CVX continue to progress, right? Just generally speaking. But also note too, it's moved its way up all the Fibonacci retracement levels, kind of maxed out at about $28 or 28.30. And we could expect some sideways action from here. We'll see here soon what's going to happen, but generally speaking, it's one of those situations we just kind of got to be a little patient and look at smaller time frames too, because the 1 day kind of gives us a general overview, and right now we kind of got to look and see what's going on. So let's go ahead and remove those previous levels there. Let's go ahead and just draw out a line here and see if this honors this trend line here in the near future. So we have potential to break out above 28.50. If the price were to continue to go sideways, maybe come down to bounce off Fibonacci of 26 and then continue back upwards. There's definitely a strong likelihood of that. But let's look at the 4 hour and see we're above both moving averages, which is great. We are extremely overextended on the 4 hour, which I don't love. And let me just go ahead and briefly explain what happens when you go with that high on the RSI on the 4 hour. You can see this here, this little increase led to a decrease. Now granted, that was a correction from Bitcoin, so you could argue that, which is a fair argument. But generally speaking, anytime you look at the RSI coming up over 70, which doesn't happen too often on the 4 hour, by the way, it will have a tendency of coming right back down. And again, it depends on the type of trend. If it's a sharp increase, it's going to come down faster and harder. This is a sharp increase, but what we want to identify is if it's a healthy increase. And if it's healthy, then we're all well and good. Now, take a look here at the 1 hour. First of all, we started with a 4 up to a 7, then to a 9, consolidation, hit an 8, consolidation up to a 9, consolidation. So this is maxing out almost every single time. It's hitting a 9 almost every single trend that it pushes. So technically speaking, it should be just fine based on this increased amount of volume we see here, holding the price action higher. So the likelihood of it coming down is lower than it is to continue sideways or upwards based on not only the trend lines, but also the fact that it doesn't tend to overextend itself. It hits a 9 and pulls back almost every single time, and that's very healthy because of the fact that there's increased volume. If we didn't have this large cluster of volume, then I'd probably be a little more concerned. The fact that we have that going into a weekend of all things is extremely important. That gives us more longevity and potential for a breakout to the upside. So even though it does appear to be fairly overextended, I think the likelihood of an increase, or at the very least consolidation to 26, is more likely to get a bounce off that or a continuation of the upside to maintain this trend line, okay? Because again, the trend is your friend. You need to identify that, and you want to get on the same page, right? Never try to fight the trend, or try not to be one of those guys that just shorts right now because it looks overextended. There's a lot of other factors involved, and volume is one of those things. If you have this much volume, it's more buying volume, not selling volume, then you need to anticipate the price will not decrease as quick or as sharp as you might has originally anticipated, okay? Shorting in this market right now is extremely ill-advised, just based on the simple fact that there's tremendous momentum from Bitcoin, and you're stacking the odds against you if you do that. So please be cautious with short positions, especially leverage positions. It's okay to short, but when you short with leverage, it can be a big no-no until we have a definitive shift in direction or momentum from especially Bitcoin. Bitcoin's still powerful. Bitcoin's still very strong, even though it's a slower weekend. Coins like this are starting to take some of that Bitcoin dominance and just pump very hard. So I do think CVX is still here to play. Will it be a significant sharp increase from here? It shouldn't, because then we'd have problems. It would be too much too soon. But this is just enough to get it through to the next leg up based on that sentiment, if that makes any sense. So all in all, really good stuff. I'm still bullish on CVX. I think big picture, we're looking great. Will it be back up to $50 or $60? I mean, I would say perhaps. It really just depends on what happens here in the immediate future, and if Bitcoin can continue to push upwards and break its resistance of 46,000. We get through with the 40,500 to 46,000 range for Bitcoin, CVX is going to be phenomenal. All right, so again, a lot of scenarios that could unfold, but just note that we're not terribly overextended. We got a good amount of volume, and things are looking pretty good for CVX. I hope you found benefit, of course. If you did, comment below, like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. Feel free to message me through Telegram at CryptoCache Tech, or just go to my website, CryptoCache.tech, and effectively consider becoming a member. It's a really awesome experience, community, trading academy, Signal Group. I mean, pretty much one-stop shop for everything you need crypto. Really cool stuff. Check that out in your own time. Thanks again for your time, by the way. Hope you have a great rest of your day. See you next one.